Hello and welcome to Forest Tech. So you want to make a swinging pendulum smoke animation, something like this. I'm going to tell you it's not that difficult. I'm going to just take you step by step through the things that I've made and how this was made possible. So I'm going to start off with Cinema 4D, and right here I've created a simple stuff which is a sphere and this simple rod. I've just made sphere the child of this rod and basically created a few keyframes, if you can see right here at the bottom. That's it. That's a simple swinging animation. After that, I created a tube. Now this is a simple tube you can find here in one of these primitives, and in that primitive tube, after adjusting its size and etc., I've applied two main deformers to it. One is twist, which is making this 360-degree twist animation, and then I've applied a jiggle. That is just adding that little bit of additional sort of deformation right in these edges. As it twists, it leaves a kind of jiggle behind, and when the ball passes, you see that bit of jiggle there. That's it. And after that, just a subdivision surface. If I turn this off, you can see that this is actually quite hard, right? But if I apply that subdivision surface, you get that soft cut right there. That's what we want. After that comes the part where we would need a bit of smoke, and for that I use Turbulence FD, and the Turbulence FD container is the main thing to create right here. For that, first thing is the grid size. So you extend the size of this Turbulence FD container so that it can basically contain the swinging motion of this pendulum, as you see, right? The main key settings were the grid size, of course. The voxel is basically the resolution. I've kept it to 5. For the sake of rendering, you can switch it down to something like 1 centimeter as well. So what I've enabled is, in the simulation, I need density and temperature, two main things right here. And viewport render, I've got density and so on going on. Now, for the rendering part, by default, smoke shader and fire shader comes with this, and if you render this, you'll get 100% perfect results with Turbulence FD. But if you want to use Redshift, then you don't need these. In my case, since I'll be rendering this out of Redshift, therefore I probably don't need to use these shaders, and I'll be making my own. Now, after creating that Turbulence FD container, we need to create that smoke that's coming out of that ball, and that is actually the part of fluid emulator. Now, in order to make that, you just select the object that needs to emit something, and after that you just click on right click and Turbulence FD, and Turbulence FD emitter is what you're going to need. After adding that tag, you can go into that tag and set up things like radius. I don't need a collision object, I don't need a fill object, and so on and so forth, but I do need density and temperature, and that is what I set up to 1 and 1 each. That's the main setting that I wanted to change in that emitter. Soon as you add that, you'll start getting this kind of smoke out of this one. Now, in order to see this smoke actually working, since I was using Redshift, therefore I created an RS volume from the Redshift menu. If you go to Redshift, go to Material, into Material, you can create a volume material right here. And into that volume material, you can come over to Channel Density, where I've actually mapped density, and you can come over to Emission, where I've actually mapped the temperature, and I've colored the temperature to this blue and white thing that you can see right here. Now, the moment I open this up and start off my IPR in Redshift, you should be able to see that the animation is actually working right here. Alright, now for the rest of the part was pretty basic, simple, just creating a plane and adding some area lights. You can see the way I open these up, they'll start adding up to my scene and start rendering as well. So that's really everything that was needed for me to create this scene, and I am pretty sure that you can use that to your advantage when and as needed. Alright, so that was a quick tutorial about how I made this smoking pendulum sort of animation. It's pretty straightforward, a lot of settings you can tweak and play around with, but that was the basic workflow. I hope these steps will be guiding enough for you to get started and start experimenting with your VFX journey. So that's everything for today. I'll get in touch with you guys soon with something more interesting than this. Stay tuned, keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep commenting. Till again, Forest Tech signing out.